Living with a disability or a physical limitation that comes from old age can be frustrating and challenging. Renovating a home with accessible features can help relieve those stresses. My name is Daniel Bortz, and I'm a personal finance reporter at U.S. News, and we're here today to talk about designing a home for those with disabilities. I'm joined by Deborah Pierce. She's the author of the book, The Accessible Home, Designing for All Ages and Abilities. She's also been an architect for more than 30 years. Thanks for joining us, Deborah.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm pleased to be here.
I was curious, could you tell us the inspiration for your book and everything that went into it, why it was such an emotional investment for you as well?
I've been designing public building accessibility projects for many years. The Americans with Disabilities Act came out in 1991, and that's been a mainstay of my practice. City halls, police stations, libraries, courthouses, ramps and elevators and lifts and handicapped bathrooms. This term is not used anymore, but at the time it was handicapped. So I was doing that work at the same time I was doing residential work for private homeowners, and wondering kind of how these two areas of my specialization worked together, and feeling it was a little, they were very disparate. And then I had an opportunity to work with a family whose child has cerebral palsy, and suddenly the light bulb went off and I knew why I was here. Everything that I'd been doing with the public sector, very generic clients, really was informed by what I was doing with this private homeowner, that I now really saw exactly how things needed to be designed. No longer relying just on the codes. I was really relying on the kind of intimate conversations that come when we're discussing how everything needs to get done. How does a person get around? How does a person open doors? How does a person turn on the faucet? How do we turn lights on and off? All of the details that an able-bodied population takes for granted is different when there's a disability.
So it also sounds like the projects are very client-specific, dependent on their needs. What are your feelings about that? Does that make you intimidated at all, or do you actually like approaching things from a fresh start and knowing that not everything is going to be exactly the same as the last project that you did?
That's a great question. What makes the design process interesting to me is the territory that I don't know when I'm entering the project. So I can really bring creativity to it, and I can bring a special kind of listening when it's new territory. And so each client is unique, and it's a quality that I've brought to my residential work all along, but seeing the idea that we're all different doesn't begin to scratch the surface of the differences that come up when we're dealing with people who have different disabilities. You know, tall person, short person makes a difference in how we think about a kitchen. Heavy person, thin person might make a difference in how I think about railings and stairs and supports. But when every little thing is different, it really requires a special kind of listening and a lot of creativity. So as a designer, I find it really satisfying and rewarding.
How rewarding is it to work with clients like this and know that your design is helping people and making their lives easier?
It's always rewarding for me to make people's lives better. Anytime that I can help a family function more efficiently, help parents have more time to be with their children, help the children be more independent and manage their own lives, that's really rewarding for me. And so this kind of work has even more rewards because we're looking at activities of daily living that really need to be done a little differently. I think what I'd like to say in closing is that the ideas in accessible homes really apply to everybody. It's not only about a home where you can live with a disability, it's a home that prevents disability. And so anytime we can make life easier, low maintenance, less costly, we're really helping people stay at home and live independently and comfortably. And so I think that's one of the exciting things of the book. One of the exciting lessons that came out in writing this book is that the definition of accessibility is really expanded and allows us to look at the home a little differently. So I think anybody who's doing a renovation project or dealing with disabilities in their lives or their family members would do well to read the book.
Right. It's not something that's just reactive. Someone gets disabled and we need to update and change the home. It's something that you should plan for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 1 in 4 people are expected to be disabled at some point in their life, and the average disability is 2.5 years. So this is something that, even though we don't like to think about it, it really is a fact of life for many people. And when you consider that it's not only your home, but your visitors, your family members, your children, your relatives, we're designing for all of these people. It's not only our own needs at the moment.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
being here.
I enjoyed it. Bye-bye.